Chris, are you still in the campus? I will only go back to the campus on the 16th of July. Another two months, is it? More than 2 months ago. And that means students stay in the hostel now. Please. And then many students stay in the hostel now. Many, yeah. Okay. What's the time now? I think we should start. I'm not going to wait for the rest. But before I start, I just need to make sure that my phone is put into silence. Okay, silence. All right. So we will continue to discuss transportation today, right? Let me share the slide first. Yang lain macam mana? Hanya Chris saja yang respon. How about the rest? Are you okay?
Yes.
Okay, doctor.
Thank you very much. Let me share the slide of I get to open the slide. Yeah, I will. Thanks for reminding. What happened to my slide? Okay, here. So you can see the slide now, right? Am I right? This is section 2, right? Section 2. Section 2, I think we stop at, let me off the video here. It's because I found that recording with video on, the file become relatively big. So section 2, I think, okay, transportation, I think we still remembers. Let me go to the, here, right? So what we are, okay, let me start recording. All right, we continue the chapter of transportation model. And as discussed or as explained during our last class, to resolve or to solve transportation model, there are two methods. One is simplex methods, another one could use any of the software, and then software we're going to use today, or not today, in this module basically is QM window. So this is chapter 8A. Chapter 8A is dealing with how to resolve transportation model using simplex methods. And then on this Thursday or tomorrow, we might explore how to get done using QM window. So for simplex methods, take notes. There are two main steps. So step 1 is to initiate to develop initial solutions, and followed by a step 2 optimizations. So develop the initial solutions to be break into 3 methods: northwest corner, minimum cost, and Vogel approximation model of them. If I remember correctly, for section 2, we have discussed northwest corner methods. Am I right? Yeah, so we will continue from minimum cost and then followed by them. So this doesn't mean that at initial, when you develop an initial solution, doesn't mean that you need to use 3 of the methods. No, you only need to pick one of the methods. Okay, and then I think I did share with you before, the most common methods that we use in the industry is we start with minimum cost. Why, you will know by today. We normally start with minimum cost. You don't need to go through all the 3 methods. Developing initial solution only need to involve one of these methods. In terms of application, most of the time we start with minimum cost. And then from there, we use the initial solutions that developed by one of these methods and go for the second step, which is based on the initial solution we developed, we go for optimization. So today we're also going to talk about optimization. There are a couple of methods, but the method that covered by this module is called stepping stone. Not really difficult, but a bit lengthy, the process. Okay. So let's continue with the minimum cost method. We have done northwest corner methods. So this is the one. Northwest corner, I think we've done it. All right, we have done northwest corner. And this is the solutions. Let's continue with the second method. Northwest corner, to recap, basically is we start propose a transportation plan. The number that appear in the box here, not the small box representing the cost, the transportation cost. The number that appear in this box here representing the plan. So northwest method, we start proposing a plan for a box that's located at northwest. Okay, means 1A lah, and then followed by either go to the right, go vertically or horizontally. Okay, now go to the second method. And I also have told you that this is one of the way to check. We're going to use this again, so I'm not going to recap. Minimum cost. By the definitions, we're going to start fill in a transportation plan in the box that with the minimum cost. In this case, you look into the cost. Cost, as I mentioned earlier, cost is representing by the small box. Which number is the smallest? Oh, yes. Good morning, Chris. It's 4, not 5. So we try to fill in, or try to propose a transportation plan between in the box of 3A. 3A. So what number that should we put? There are only two numbers, 200 or 275. Remember that it's the same as northwest method. 200 and 225, anyone, not necessarily. If you know, please respond. I'm going to fill in a transportation plan here. There's only two options. Yes, 200, exactly. But why 200? If example, if I put 275, why I can't put 275? Because even though supply 3 able to produce 275, but what demands A require is only 200. If I delivering 275 from 3 to A, over demands, the 75 unit will be rejected by A. They were telling 3 that I only order 200, I only need 200, why you send me 275? That is the theory behind. If you do understand that, then the method is look at these two numbers, then select the smallest. So definitely the smallest is 200. Okay, now let fill in 200. And once you fill in 200, keep it as a habit that revise the demand and also revise the supplies quantity then that become 75. So once you're done for, which cost is the lowest? Ignore the 4, 5, right? Am I right? Hello, good morning everyone. 5. So which number should I put? 75 or 100? Yeah, and then this is done. Potentially, you will make a mistake if you forgot to revise the quantity on the demand and supply. So the next lowest 6, but 6, the demand at A has been fulfilled. 0. So 6, we're not going to feel anything. Why? It's because the demand for A is fulfilled. So no, ignore. Then the next one, 7, is the same thing. Demand for A has been fulfilled. Ignore. So the next one will be 8. Am I right? So I'm not going to ask, but theoretically 25 and 150, you should put 25. Don't forget. to revise the quantity. If not, you tend to make mistake. And then subsequently, there are 4 numbers left. The lowest is 10. 10, I should put 1, 2, 5. Okay, done. This becomes 0. And this becomes 175. Okay. 175, 175. All right. You see the last 2 number that appear here, the rest are all 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, the balance of demand and supply intersect at 2C, which is 175. This gives an indication that most likely the answer is correct. Okay, but you also can do a quick check. We have 3 row, 3 column, minus 1, 5. You should have 5 transportation plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't guarantee that the answer is correct, but most likely your answer is correct. All right, so that is the plan. So how about the cost itself? Don't stop there, no? So you have to calculate the cost. You also need to sort of like highlight the transportation plan. Initial transportation plan is sending 200 from 3 to A, from 3 to B, 75, from 1 to B, 25, 1 to C, 125, 2 to C, 175. So the cost itself, it will cost 200. 25, 8. Someone can use sort of like press the calculator or press your great expensive mobile phone. Oh, you're faster than me this time. That's good. What is that? Sorry, Chris. 4, 5. Yeah. So let me take a look whether I have the answer scheme there. I think so. Correct. So apparently, you see, the initial cost. This is not the final solution, right? Yeah. I think I did share with you last week. When come to final exam and test, sure there'll be couple of students, 1 or 2 students that stop here when answering the question related to transportation model. No, this is not the final answer. This is the initial cost. 4550 is lower than 5925 that we developed using Northwest method. That is the reason that I told you that most of the time the industry will start with minimum cost. Okay, so minimum cost done. Now let's go into the third method. This third method, not really difficult, but the steps is sort of like more slightly, not say more, slightly complicated than the last 2 methods, minimum cost and Northwest corner. The concept of van method basically is we try to reduce the risk of making a mistake. Van, Vogel approximation model, basically for the purpose of reduce the risk of making a mistake. Okay, risk of making a mistake. What does it mean? Okay, we go through A first. Column A. We go to column A. You look into the transportation cost that involve demands A, the 3 costs that involve 6, 7, and 4. If purely based on these 3 numbers, the correct decision should be we should go for the cheapest first, which is 4. Am I right? Am I right? 4. So if today Chris make a mistake, instead of 4, which is the lowest transportation cost, Chris go for the second lowest. 6. Okay, if Chris make a mistake, which is Chris go for the second lowest. So what would be the loss per unit of item that transported? The loss will be 2, exactly. Correct. 2 means lowest is 4, but you made a mistake. So the second lowest is 6. Okay, so the risk of making the cost that incur when you make a mistake, basically is you need to pay additional $2 per unit of item you transport. How about B? I use a different method to explain. B, which one is the lowest? 8, 11, 5. 5 is the lowest. So the second lowest, 8. So 8 minus 5. How about here? Lowest is 10, 11, so 1. How about the first row? 6, 8, and 10. Here, 7, 11, 11. Okay, then 4, 5, 12, 1. Oh, this is 5? Which one is 5? No, not 4, correct, right? Correct. Yeah. So, all right. So that is the first step where you calculate the risk if you make a wrong mistake. So there's 6 number that are written there. Based on this 6 number, which number is the highest? 4 means I should try to avoid this mistake. I should try to avoid this mistake. Because if I make a mistake at row number 2, the cost of the failure or the cost of the mistake is higher is 4. Therefore, I should fill in this one first. Why? Is because this number is highest. So I decided to fill in this one because this number is higher. This number representing the cost I need to pay if I make a mistake. So if this row that is my target, there are 3 numbers, that's 7, 11, 11, or there are 3 costs there. The lowest is 7, right? Am I right? So I will fill in 7 first. Okay, recap. I calculate the number, I pick the biggest 4. Therefore, I try to fill in a transportation plan for row number 2 first. So there are 3 boxes there. So I will fill in the cheapest, which is 7. So what number should I put on 7? 201.75. Okay, then 25. And here, 0. Okay, now I have proposed one transportation plan. I need to go for the second round, whereby I will calculate again the cost here. This ignore. Why? Because I fill in. Ignore this and ignore this. Why I ignore these 2 is because row number 2 or supply for source 2 have been used up. The 175 units from supply 2 has been allocated 0. So I will ignore these 2 boxes. So now I recalculate the cost here. The lowest 4, second lowest 6, still 2. The lowest 5, second lowest 8, 3. Here, the lowest 10, second lowest 12. No more 11, because 11, 11, the source from number 2 has been fully utilized, has been allocated. So these 2 we are not going to use anymore. So here is 2. How about here? 8 and 6 still 2 here, no more. Ignore this. And here still 1. So what color is it? Orange, yellow? The color that you're using, what color is it? Golden. Okay. Based on the number in the golden number that I written, which number is the highest? 3 means I should resolve column B first, because if I make a mistake here, it will contribute the highest loss. So in column B, there are only 2 boxes that I can allocate, 5 and 8. So definitely, which one I'm going to allocate? 5. So on not 5, 4, is it? 5, correct? 5. Sorry? 5. 5. So in 5, like, I need to fill in B. Why? Because the highest number is 3. So in 5, there are 5 and 8. 11 ignore. 5 and 8, the lowest is 5. So I should fill in 5 first. What number should I put in 5? Yes. Here becomes 0. And here become 1, 5. Okay, again, there is a thing that make a bit legit. I change what color? Green color. Okay. So I need to calculate again. But before I calculate, I must make sure that I already cancel out those at 0. So this is 0. So I'm not going to consider here because it's already 0. Okay. So why is because the demand for B has been fulfilled. So I will ignore whatever transportation plan that the possible transportation for B I'm going to ignore because that has been fulfilled. So by doing that, I'm going to recalculate again by using green color. Here still same 2. How about here? Fulfill, ignore because fulfill, right? How about here? 2, still same 2. How about row number 1? 4, exactly. 8 has been fulfilled. So this is 4. And then how about this? 0, no more. Here? Sorry? 7? Why 7? 8. Right. 12 and 4, 8. So in this case, which number is a higher at this moment?
8.
All right. So 8 is the highest. So between 4 and 12, the lowest is 4. Therefore, I need to fill in 4 first. 4, there's 25, there's 175. So I fill in 25. No more? 0. Here? 150. 150, yeah? So since this is 0, so where's my pointer? Okay. So here's no more. You see, this, and this all have been filled in. So the only 2 columns left. I should not put all columns or all boxes have been filled in except 2. Where are the 2? What color I should use? Use blue. Just now. Okay. I don't know what color is that. So there are only two boxes that left. Here and here. Am I right? Okay. So I'm not going to calculate. I'm not going to calculate the cost again, because if I calculate, I only will get this one, which is 2. The rest all 0, 0, nothing. So I will fill in these 2 boxes. So if 10, between 10 and 12, I will fill 10 first. I fill 10 first. So for 10, between 150 and 300, I will fill 150. So here becomes 0. Here, 150. So what color that I know? So in the end, you see, I have 150. All right. Then most likely my answer is correct. And then make sure that they are 5 number. Why? It's because 6. 3 plus 3 minus 1, they are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is when. a very colorful slide. Let's calculate the cost. If I ask for transportation plan, you should know the plan is deliver 175 from 2 to A, deliver 25 from 3 to A, blah, blah, and then 3 to B, 100. Then the cost itself is equal to, oh, this color is matching, exactly. Very quiet this class, I don't know whether you are there or not. Hopefully next semester you will back to the campus. So calculated this time. Okay. So if 4775 means it's even higher than the minimum cost, you see? So minimum cost is lower. Let's see whether is it correct. Oh, okay, the subsequent slide. Okay, we recorded that's good. The subsequent slide just sort of repeat or show what I have done just now. But the boring part is the subsequent slide all in the same color. This slide appear to be better because we use different color. So the subsequent slide, you see, this is how we calculate the cost, the band cost, and then we put the first allocation, calculate against the cost, and then fill in the second allocations, the hundreds here, and then subsequently where is my pointer? Yeah. Then we calculate against, and then toward the end you get this. The cost, no, wrong. It's not 5, it's not 4. Please. Something wrong. Your calculation, is it? In this class, only Chris have calculator, is it? The rest you didn't buy calculator. No, you all reserve your calculator for final exam. Correct? You want green, right? Green. Green, like only one student use, the rest self energy, green. Okay. The answer is it same? Let me check the answer is the same. 1725 standard rubber. Okay. The answer is correct. The answer is the same. Oh, 5125. No problem. What brand of calculator that you use to split? No, just kidding, actually. Because I know you. All right, so now you see, we have done the three methods. But remember there's another two scenario that we discussed week 2 or week 3, chapter 2 or chapter 3. Life is not perfect, as I told you. Life is not perfect. And in real life, it's very unlikely that you're going to have a scenario that you have perfect match, whereby the number of supply is same as the number of demand. If this is a scenario in life that always demand equal to supply, then there's no point for us to learn supply chain management, to learn this sort of thing. In life, normally it's quite difficult. In life means industry setting. It's quite difficult to get a scenario that demand exactly match the supply. If demand matching the supply, then the price will become very stable. But most of the time, we're going to see a scenario either demand more than supply or supply more than demand. The model that we have discussed so far, we call it balance model. Balance model. But most of the time, model that we're going to deal with are unbalanced model. Either it's demand more than supply or supply more than demand. Let's go for the first one first. The first one is demand more than supply. So the rest of the number I didn't change. I purposely changed the demand for Cincinnati to 350. So end up that for this transportation model, it's more real, okay, reflect the real scenario whereby the demand is more than supply. Okay, if unbalanced model, you need to add in either an additional column or additional row. For unbalanced model, you need to add additional column or row to create a so-called dummy This dummy can be dummy demand or dummy supply. Okay. So the next question that I want to ask you is, what do you think? Should I create a dummy for demand or should I create a dummy for supply in this case? I have more demand is more than supply. So which one should I create? I should create dummy supply. Exactly. Why supply? Yeah, you need to find a dummy supplier. You see, 650 is the demand. So, but only can supply 600. Transportation model only can work out in such a way. The simplex model you can apply when the model is balanced. If not balanced, you can't use simplex method. Therefore, you need to add a dummy on the supply. Adding a dummy on the supply means this is supply, right? Nothing changed except you add in additional supply. And from the previous scenario, we know that this dummy supply need to supply 50 tons. Why? It's because demand is oversupplied by 50. Therefore, I just click another so-called dummy supply that contribute 50. This doesn't exist, no? The dummy supply doesn't exist. In reality, means you need to look for a new supplier that could supply 50. Okay. Since this supplier does not exist, therefore the transportation cost will be 0, 0, and 0. The transportation cost will be 0, 0, and 0. And this model we call dummy, this row we call dummy row. Okay, now let's do it together. Now you should be expert. I use minimum cost to work out the initial cost. I use minimum cost method to work out the initial solutions for this unbalanced model that's with dummy row. Okay, so if minimum cost, I should start with the cost, the lowest transportation cost. So which cost is the lowest? Which cost is the lowest? Not 0. Why do I start with 0? 0 is dummy, right? Doesn't exist. So you're right. I should start with 4. Okay. So I will do it a bit quicker. So I will feed 200, 0, 75. So the second is 5. Am I right? 5, 75, 100. So I should feed 75. Here, 25. Here, 0. Done. Done. Okay, so subsequently, 6. I can't fill in because demand has been fulfilled. 7, I can't fill in. Then how about 8? So I got to fill in only 25. 0. Then this is 1, 2, 5. And then 1, 8 is done. The next will be 10. Am I right? The next will be 10. So 10, 125. And then this one, 225. Okay, 10 done. Okay, 11, I can't fit anything here because it's already 0. So the only column I have is here. So 175, 0, here, 50. So 50, 50, yeah, done. So I do a quick check. The last transportation plan that I fill in is 50. And when I fill that number, both supply and demand showing the same number. Yeah, maybe my answer most likely is right. Second, there are 4 rows, there are 3 columns, which is equal to 7. 7 minus 1 equal to 6. So I must have 6 combination of transportation plan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, maybe I'm right. Okay, so this is how to work out the initial cost for dummy row. Another scenario will be, is it the same? Should be the same, lah. Same, lah. Okay. So another scenario will be supply more than demands. The more I increase to 375, end up that supply is more than demand. Mean I need to create a dummy demand here to absorb the 100 ton extra supply that made by these three elevators. All right. So in this case, instead of dummy row, then I will need a dummy columns. Dummy column to so-called absorbs the 100 extra unit that produced by the three supply. So there's one dummy columns that representing the demands. The demands. Okay. So the same thing, the cost will be 0. And let's do it together using a minimum cost method. So again, 200, correct, 200. So 0 and then 175. Where will be the next one? 5. Huh? So we'll do this couple of times already. So 0. I thought just ask you to do it, but I think it's okay. Then I know repeat 6 and 7 cannot. Why? Because this is 0. 8. Can I view 8? No. Cannot. So I must go to 10. 10. So what I going to put on 10? 0. 150. All right. So subsequently, 11. I can't put anything here. I must put in here. So this is 175. And this is 150. So where should I put in? 150 here. Am I right? 0. And then here become 25. Okay. The special thing about this is, the special thing now is, you see, all the columns that beside the dummy column, the rest is 0. No, I can't feel anything here. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. I can't feel. The only box I can feel are these three. But here is 0, I can't. The balance are these two. So you just need to copy this number into here. Because both are 0, right? You need to, it's sort of like consider which one that you want to fill in. Okay, I repeat. You only need to copy the number there. Or you can follow your method. You can follow the method. It's the same regardless how you do. You can follow the same method. You can start from this, you can start from here. If I start from here, then it's 25, 0, then becomes 75, then 75. You can start like this. Okay. Or I can start with 75. Not a problem. Huh? So done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 number, and here there are 3 row, 4 column minus 1. I should have 6. And the last number that I fill in is tally with the demand and supply. So maybe I'm right. Okay. So yeah, I'm right. Okay. Okay, good. So any question so far from initial cost? We have finished discussion on initial cost. So initial cost, there's a tutorial. I think there are 2 tutorials. This tutorial 1 to 40, 40, 40. This is tutorial for balance model. You need to work out the initial solution using 3 methods. Then this, if I remember correctly, should be the unbalanced model. Yeah, definitely this is unbalanced. You have to do it. All right, let's continue. Sorry, yes. Is it written there? Yes, yes. Follow. This time I learned from the previous chapter. I don't want to be so kind. Whatever tutorial there, I will ask you to do. Last time I had to take up. I will tell you later what happened. So now go to step 2, optimization. This is I wouldn't say it's difficult, but it's only a bit lengthy, the process. We have used the same example and we have developed three initial solution using northwest corner, minimum cost, and then. And we found that the lowest initial cost is the model that develops using minimum cost method. Therefore, I'm going to continue the optimization by using the model, initial solution model that developed using minimum cost. You can continue the second step by using different model, northwest corner, van. But the step that involves perhaps longer than minimum cost. Okay, so I will start with minimum cost. I will use minimum cost. Okay, this is the minimum cost solution that we developed in initial cost. Initial cost in step one, sorry. This is the initial cost that developed using minimum step. What I'm saying, this is the initial solutions that developed in the first step by using minimum cost method. Okay? Agree? We just developed this a couple of minutes ago. And so now, my question is, you see, we only look at this. We look at, we look at here, the first row. The first row, at this moment, the initial solution proposed the 150 unit that produced by 1, 25 delivered to B, 125 delivered to C. Agree? Agree, right? But it sounds funny to me. You know why I don't send anything to A? I should send something to A because A, transportation from 1 to A is the cheapest compared to 1 to B and 1 to C. Why don't I try to send? Why don't I try to deliver a certain quantity to A? You get what I mean? That is the meaning optimization. I try to test. Okay. There are 9 boxes here. I propose transportation plan. There are 5 transportation plan I propose. Out of the 9 possible transportation plan, I propose to follow or to use 5 of the plan. There are another 4 I didn't use. Why do I try to move certain quantity to these empty boxes and to see whether what is the impact towards my transportation cost? If the cost is reduced, good, I will go for it. If the cost is equal or increased, then no lah. I don't move. You get what I mean? So I try to do something to see whether should I move certain quantity to here, to here, to here, to here. And when I'm moving certain quantity to these 4 boxes, what is the impact toward the transportation cost? If the cost reduced, okay, I will move. If the cost equal, no point of moving. If the cost is more than the original cost, then I shouldn't go for that. That is the concept. So how to do that? I have to erase this. How to do that? Basically, I'm going to start with the first box, which is I not really like to teach online. Since we started online learnings last year, 18th of March last year we started MCO. Same last year, 1 year plus. Another chapter, I think that it's good to conduct online. But when it comes to this chapter, I like to conduct online very much. You know why, Chris? Or you know why, the rest of you? Because if I teach this chapter face to face, every time I have to draw this box on the whiteboard now. You get what I mean? Setiap kali I want to do, I have to draw this box. Wow, this time I feel that, even though I did not teach this for a couple of semesters, but I remember 3 or 4 semesters back when I ajar transportation, leceh lah, setiap kali perlu draw the box on the whiteboard. This time no need, is it? Okay, I just erase it. Okay, now I want to see 1A first. 1A here. Okay. I want to see whether should I move should I move something? If I move something, certain quantity to here, what is the impact? Okay, I start with a simple one. Mean if I move 1 unit, if I move 1 unit, I'm going to explain in two methods. I'm going to explain in theoretical, then I will explain to you a practical method. Okay, if I add 1 unit here, I move 1 unit here, what happened to this supply? Hey, this supply become 151, right? 25 plus 125 plus 1, huh? Cannot let. So I must remove a quantity. I must take out one quantity from these two, like 25 and 125. Okay. Example, I take out from here. Oh, I take out one quantity here. Then, okay, become 150. Am I right? Yeah, but problem, no, you take out one here. Here become 99. So what should I do? I need to add one more here. Then become 100. But problem again, if I add one more here, here become 276. What should I do? I take out one more. Then here become balanced. Oh, here become balanced. Wow, wonderful. Become balanced. Okay. This is a theoretical way of explaining. Theoretical way of explaining. Okay. Now, I'm going to explain using a practical method. Practical method. I erase this one first. Practical method is this. You refer to the terms that appear on the top here. Stepping stone. What is stone? Stone is batu, right? Batu, right? So the number appear here 25, 125, 175, 75, 200. You consider as a batu. These are batu. These are batu. Those that without number, okay, before I say batu, I mean this is kolam lah. Step satu itu, this is a kolam. This is one kolam. Kolam air, kolam air, and then there's a batu. Okay, yeah. So if I'm standing here, okay, I want to go around this number of column, and then at the end, I want to come back to this is my house. I want to back to my house. I want to lompat, jump, and then come back to here. This is called stepping stone. Tetapi when I lompat, right, there's a rule there. I cannot simply lompat. I only can lompat horizontally or vertically. I cannot lompat in this way. Cannot. Okay, number one. Rule number one. Rule number two. Rule number two is example. Now I lompat to here. I jump to here. I lompat to here. Lepas ada lompat, I must make a 90-degree turn. I cannot lompat to batu 125, tak boleh. Because the rule says that it must turn 90 degrees. So once I jump to batu 25, I only can go up or down. I cannot go horizontal because I must turn 90 degrees. This is the rule. Okay, kalau this is the rule of the game, so I start jump lah. So I start jump. Stepping stone, I start my stepping stone. I go here, lompat. I must turn 90 degree. If I turn 90 degree, I cannot go up. Up is B. B itu bukan batu. That's sempadan negara lain lah. We cannot go there. So I must go down. If I go down, this is what? This is kolam without batu, right? So I must jump until here. Okay? Alright. So after that, turn 90 degree. Tak ada batu sebelah sana. So I come back this batu. And then lompat balik ke tempat asal. Why I also can jump this way, see? I also can jump. There's another batu here, right? I also can jump to this batu. But when I jump this batu, the next say 90 degree, I jump to here. Jump to here. What's the second rule? 90 degree. 90 degree maksudnya I have to lompat sini dah tak ada batu. So yang ni tak berjaya. This one cannot. This path cannot. This stepping stone path cannot. You get me? Yang golden ini tak boleh. Yang merah boleh. Okay ya. Alright. Faham kan? That's called stepping stone. So, tempat yang saya berdiri tadi, saya berdiri kat sini kan? Plus 1. Saya lompat negative 1. Lompat lagi, plus 1. Lompat lagi, negative 1. Done. So, this called stepping stone. This called stepping stone. So now, what is the purpose of doing this stepping stone? If I want to see, if I move 1 unit to 1A, what is the impact? So now I start calculating the opportunity cost. We call opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is equal to 1 unit. If I tambah to 1A, it costs me $6. Am I right? 1 unit saya keluarkan daripada 1B, saya tolak 8 sebab saya move 1 unit. Correct? 1 unit saya tambah dekat 3B plus 5. 1 unit saya keluarkan daripada 3A. So end up berapa? Negative 1. Oh, negative 1 is a, where is my pointer? Okay. Negative 1 is a good news. Negative 1 means there's a possibility that I can move certain quantity to 1A because if I move 1 unit, my transportation cost will reduce $1. Good, eh? Good, eh? This is good. But I don't draw the conclusion first because I still need to test the other one. I still need to test the other one. Okay, let's test the other one. Ini salah explain. Test the other one. Now we test 2A. 2A. Okay, I start from here. Where you want to jump? Mana ada batu? Bawah, okay, can I go here? Then after that, so go to where? 3. Go to 3. 3B. Sebab okay, dekat sini kan saya tak boleh lompat ke atas, tak ada batu. 25 tak boleh. Langgar peraturan. I can jump 175 also. I can jump 175. But Chris, maybe because Chris ready to jump so far, Chris select to jump to 200. Okay lah, jump to 200, no problem. If jump 175, no problem, still the same. Turn 90 degree. Turn 90 degree. Sini ya. Lepas tu, lompat ke mana lagi? 90 degree. 1B, correct. 1B. Tapi tak boleh balik semula tempat asal saya lagi ya. So I have to jump again. Jump tu. 1C. Lepas tu jump tu. 2C. Lepas tu, oh, berjaya lompat balik ke rumah. Done. You must make until you able to return to the origin. Okay, so then yang saya start ini is plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1. Okay, then I start calculate the opportunity cost, which is equal to 7. That's the reason I put a minus here. Minus 4 plus 5 minus 8, difficult to write, plus 10 minus 11 equal to
If 1, Doctor.
negative 1. Okay. Alamak, there's a missed call. Never mind. Don't bother. Sound like okay, never mind. Negative 1. Okay, so 2A also possible. If I move 1 unit to 2A, maksudnya my total cost jimat by saved by $1. Not bad. So 1A and 2A can consider later. We consider later because I can't make a decision now. There's still 2 possibility that I yet to test. So I go to another one. 2A done, negative 1. I go to 2B. 2B. Semua yang kosong ini perlu test. So 2B, 2B senang nak lompat. Ini siapa pun boleh lompat. Senang nak lompat to B. You know why? Which one you prefer? You want to lompat to batu 25, 175? Dia akan sama tau, result akan sama. Example, I lompat here. Oh ini siapa? Semua dalam kelas pun boleh lompat. Dekat-dekat saja kan you jump. So this is plus 1, negative 1, plus 1, negative 1. Example I change. Tadi I jump to 175, right? Now I change. I jump to here. Still the same, plus 1, negative 1, plus 1, negative 1. The answer will be the same. So don't worry, the directions. So in this case, the opportunity cost will be 11 minus 8 plus 10 minus 11 equal to 2, right? Is it? 2, sure. More than 2, okay, 2. What does it mean by 2? Oh, no, don't consider to move anything to 2B. Because if you move 1 unit to 2B, your cost will increase by $2. Don't. Not a very good option. Okay, next. Last one. Mana dia? Here. So last one is 3C here. 3C, where you want to jump? 175. If you jump 175, then you turn 90 degree, dah tak ada batu. Tenggelam dah. Tak boleh. So assume you are very powerful. You must assume that you are very powerful. You can jump across the batu. You jump to here. Ignore the 175. Terus lompat ke belah sana. Then, yeah. Alright, So, plus 1. So, the opportunity cost will be 12 minus 10 plus 8 minus 5. Dapat berapa? 5. So, this one even. Don't go for this. If you move 1 unit to 3C, then the cost will increase by $5. So to summarize what we have done, I clicked a bit up, okay. I'm saying that don't go for 2B because if you move 1 unit to 2B, cost increase by 2. If you move 1 unit to 3C, cost will increase by 3. But if you move 1 unit to 1A and 2A, cost will reduce by $1. Oh, so it's good to try one of these. So if me, I would choose this. Why? It's because the path is easier the path for 1A is easier or shorter compared to 2A. 2A involve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 changes, but 1A only involve 4. Therefore, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do something on this first. Okay, bear with me short while. I stopped recording for a short while because I noticed my boss miscall me a couple of times. Bear with me, short while. Hello, I'm back. Okay. I resume recording. Okay, so where we start, we are saying that are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, so I would go for the 1A because even though 1A and 2A both indicated that if I move certain unit to 1A or 2A, the cost will be reduced by $1 per unit. However, I will go for 1A because 1A call for a shortened path instead of 2A because 2A require me to involve 6 paths. Okay, so now I will go for 1A. So this is 1A. This is 1A. What I'm going to do? If I move 1 unit to 1A, if I move 1 unit, if 1 unit I move, the cost will reduce by what happened to this? Okay, if I move 1 unit, cost will reduce by $1. But there's one thing I forgotten to mention to you. This table first. Because we have worked out these solutions. We have worked out this solution. We have worked out the initial solution. We worked out the initial solutions. So you've done the first step of stepping stone. You have done. If when you have done all, and the opportunity cost that you get, if all are 0 or positive, then you stop. You don't need to go for the subsequent step. Mean you've done. This is the optimum solution. This sentence, do you get me? Understand?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. If one of the opportunity cost equal to negative, then you need to go to the next step. You need to go to the next step. So in our case, we have 2 cases that negative, so we will go for next step. So this is the next step. If I move 1 unit to 1A, I will save $1. How many quantity that you suggest me to move to 1A? Oh, stop. I should ask this question and then I should stop and then answer my first call. Sorry? If I move 1 unit, I save $1. How many quantity should I move? The answer will be one of these. You see, this is the stepping stone path. Between the path, there are only 3 numbers. 275, 25. So what is the quantity that I should move? Why 25? The answer is correct, but 125.
Then you can save
Not the cost,
25.
the quantity. There are 2. The answer will be 2. The answer must consider number 1 is I want to move certain quantity to 1A. Okay, so I must look at the negative. I only can move quantity that is negative. Positive, no, I cannot move. Positive is 8 lakh, I should not move. So I move to, I should choose either 25 or 200. So I choose the minimum, 200, 25. So I move 25 here. I move 25 here, all right. I'm going to move 25 here. What happened to the rest? You see, when I move 25 here, mean I plus 25. If I plus 25, here I must minus 25. Then here becomes 0. Here I must minus 25. Then I become 175. Here becomes 775. Here I must plus 25, become 100. So I'm going to have a new interactions or new transportation plan that's which is the plan showing that the plan will be 25 1A, 175 3A, 100 3B. These two maintain the same. And originally we have planned of transporting 25 from 1 to B, but now becomes 0. By saying so, now my transportation plan change to this 5. Change to this 5. This is the one. We call it second iteration of the optimized transportation plan. Faham sampai sini? Yeah, okay. Now, the thing that lecture is test again. Test again. Okay, I want to test 3. I must test this 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4 to see whether it's optimum. So 2A, I'm going to test 2A. So where I go to lompat? Where I go to jump? The stepping stone. 3A. 3A. If I follow, if I run 3A, then I can turn. Then I got no batu for me to step. Yeah. Saya masuk dalam kolam, tenggelam. Okay, then become SOS. Tak boleh. So cannot. So I must jump to, but it's okay. Don't worry, Chris. That's learning process. So we must jump to example. Sini first Then turn. Then turn. Oh, okay, balik. Okay. Then here become +1, -1, +1, -1. So end up 7 - 6 + 10 - 11 equal to -1, is it? Huh? 0, huh? What does it mean by 0 means? 0 means okay. Means there's alternative. There's alternative. But accepted maksudnya you can pindah. Tetapi if you pindah, you get nothing lah. It's the same cost. If the cost now is 54525 example, you can pindah. But when you pindah, you also get 4525. Nothing. But it's a good indication for management. If you have any problems in transportation, you can move this because it doesn't incur any increase in the cost. So 0 means sama. You pindah tak pindah, cost pun sama. So tak payah pindah lah. Why want to pindah? So next, go for 2A. 2A dah. 2A yang tadi buat. Then 1B. 1B nak lompat ke mana lah? 1B? 1A, okay, then? Then, dah boleh balik ke tempat asal. Okay, here is +1, -1, +1, -1. So it's 8 - 6 +4 - 5 equal to +1, +2.
1, Doctor.
+1. So don't do anything. Don't move. Why? Because if you move a unit to 1B, your cost will increase by 1. Okay? Why? I want to ignore any call. So this, don't move anything to 1B. All right, now go to the third one. So -1, you're right. Yes, I didn't check the answer. I think it's correct. So 2B. 2B, mana 2B? Here's 2B. Where to lompat? Oh, 2B complicated sikit, is it? Where you want to lompat? Okay, I don't want to show you. You tell me. Where? 2C, 2C. Okay, go to C then. Then
1C,
1C. Then
1A,
1A. Penat lompat lah ni, jalan jauh sikit. Then
3A,
3A. Oh. Then
3B,
tak boleh balik lagi lah. So 3B. Oh, baru balik. So this is susah sikit lah. Bukan susah lah. Banyak batu yang perlu lompat kan. Minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. The last one must be minus lah. Then correct lah. So it's 11 minus 11 plus 10 minus 6 plus 4 minus 5. Dapat berapa? 3, is it? Oh, ini lagi jangan. Sebab if you pindah, then you will rugi RM3. Harga tambah RM3. So 3 is correct. 3, okay, correct. Then 3C, the last one is 3C. 3C long distance jump lah. You have to jump. You have to jump to 3A. Okay. 3A. Okay, so it's plus 1. So basically it's 12 minus 4 plus 6 minus 10 equal to
plus 4,
oh, jangan juga, don't move anything to this because the cost will increase 4. So by saying so, we achieve the optimize. We already optimize the solution. Whereby, you see, if the stepping stone testing showing that the opportunity costs are positive or 0, therefore, this solution is optimal. But don't stop there. You have to discuss. Maybe here the answer scheme is not really so good. You have to discuss. Okay, the transportation plan is example 1 to A, 25 unit. Okay, or you can write in the wording to ship or to transport 175 unit from 3 to A, and then 3 to B, 100 units, and then 1 to C, 125, and 2 to C, 175. Then you can calculate transportation cost. You can follow this. Another way is you can follow the method that we discussed so far. The cost will be 25, 6 plus 125, 10 plus 175, 11 plus 175, 4 plus 105. So the answer should be the same. So by saying so, you already optimize the solutions. You optimize the solution. Is it clear? Okay, good. Try. What do you mean try? Oh, okay. This one want to make your life difficult. Means that you remember. Where? You see here? I was doing the stepping stone. We not I we did together. We did the stepping stone based on moving certain quantity to 1A. We have done that and then we work out the optimum solution. So why don't you try to do the same thing? Follow the second option, 2A. You try to find this and then to see whether the cost will be the same or not. You try to continue the next stepping stone process using 2A as an alternative. or to move certain quantity to 2n. If you do that, you will get the same different transportation plan. Why different? Because I told you like zero mean alternative. You will get a different transportation plan. You try it, try the one that using 2n. You can try if you want. Then you will get a different transportation plan. This is answer scheme. Different transportation plan. However, you will get the same cost. So I give you, I let you decide whether you want to try or not. So I give you the answer scheme here. You get what I mean, right? So there's another alternative. You can try it. You can try. It's not part of the tutorial. This is not. As for the tutorial, then there is a tutorial. How many tutorial? I think one is, this is quite straightforward. Oh, okay. This one may be very straightforward. Maybe one step if you found is optimized already. Oh, tutorial 4. Tutorial 4 is the past year exam question. Tutorial 4. Many years I will say, okay, stop recording first. Stop. Okay, tutorial 4 is a past year exam question. Correct. Right, good. This one good. So you try this too. So what I intend to do now, basically we have done transportation using simplex. So what I'm going to do tomorrow basically is it tomorrow, Thursday? Yeah, but tomorrow 9 o'clock I got, never mind, I'll let you know. 9 to, I have meeting. Okay, it's okay. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how to use, maybe tomorrow or maybe Monday, we're going to talk about how to resolve using, maybe next week, not tomorrow. Next week, yeah. Tomorrow is tutorial, like, okay, next week. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to discuss tutorial part 3, the one that confused you. You all like that day? We're going to recap. What's the time now? Okay, we still have time. Good. Let me open the slide first. I think I should off my mobile phone now when come to work. Leceh lah, kacau. Tutorial 3. Part 3 tutorial. What happened was, what appeared on your screen now? Chapter 5, part 3. I will record later. I explain to you first. So originally there are 2 tutorial, 3 and 4. Okay, then I'm too kind. I look at it, these 2 almost the same. So I asked you to do 3, I didn't ask you to do 4. But I think it's good to do both. So subsequently, when it comes to preparation for the tutorial discussion, I go, this is not the slide that we use, this is a slide, original slide. I go to the slide on Wednesday. There's a tutorial. So I delete. I thought that I asked you to do 4. I delete the 3. I delete the 3, tutorial solution 3, and then I explain tutorial 4, but not full, partially. Yeah. So we are discussing. I give you tutorial 3, but we are discussing solution for tutorial 4. That was what happened. Okay, right? You remember that? Oh, not Hazel, you detected that, right? Correct, right?
Yes, doctor.
And then, but the most important thing was, I was wondering that day, because as I told you, right, I'm not be teaching this subject for 3 semesters. I did work out a table to help you to do this, but I tried to find, I thought I've forgotten, or I thought, I tried to find the table, but I couldn't find. But the table was the one that I deleted when I deleted solution for tutorial 3. There's one important table here that I need to explain to you, but this is solution 3. Like I deleted everything. So I didn't discuss this table. So if you know this table, then in fact, there's no problem for you. Okay. So a bit rough. Last Thursday, you still remember a bit rough. So I retrieve back the original slide. I modify a little bit. Then I'm going to talk about tutorial 3 and 4 now. So, but now I changed my mind a little bit. Nothing remained the same as it changed. I will discuss this one first. Normally, I let students try first, then only I explain the summary. But today, because you're very confused, I don't want to make you even pening. So I will discuss the table first. Okay, discuss the table, then you will know that, oh, in fact, so easy, all the tutorial. All right, okay. This is the rule of the thumb. Not I want to show off. If really this is, you can't find the book, it's my work. Hey, I forgot to record. Okay, so this is the rule of the thumb when you're solving, or you're trying to identify the sensitivity range for right-hand side value. For right-hand side value. So what is sensitivity range for right-hand side value? Sensitivity range for right-hand side value is referring to a range whereby the solution mix remain unchanged. Right? No change on solution mix. Agree? Sensitivity range for right-hand side value. Am I right? Okay, right-hand side value, solution mix remain unchanged. What does it mean by solution mix remain unchanged? It means A to B, in fact, there's a change. A proposed, don't produce X1, produce 160, X2. B, solution mix change because B is producing both items. When come to C, the solution mix change again. C proposing produce X1 without producing X2. Regardless of the number here, as well as the mix of the product change, we call solution mix is changed. So this part we already discussed that day, right? Am I right? Correct? Huh? I explained to you two ways. One is theoretical, one is practical again. Theoretically, the solution mix, the change of solution mix should be happen in such a way that if the initial solution is don't produce X1, then the solution mix will follow by propose to change to produce two products, then followed by producing another product. Okay, easier way to explain it like this. Where this is any one of you from JB? This is Kulai lah. This is Skudai. And maybe here after Kulai is mana? Simpan Renggam. Is it? Any Johorian? No, I don't want to use this. Then only Johorian no. Only Johorian no lah. Okay, maybe this is not a very good example, but I just use this. Melaka and Seremban, Negeri Sembilan. Negeri Sembilan. Okay, theoretically, if I bawa kereta using highway if I want to go Negeri Sembilan, I cannot go straight to Negeri Sembilan without pass by Melaka. I have to go to Melaka first, then only can go to Negeri Sembilan. If I want to go from Negeri Sembilan to Johor, I must pass by Melaka, only I can come to Johor. I cannot straight away from Negeri Sembilan without go to Melaka, I reach JB through Plus Highway. Impossible, am I right? Yeah. Correct, huh? Okay, so it's the same thing. You look at this graph. The changes happen in solution mix is in this path. From A, I change B. Then from B, I change to C. So it will not occur that A directly change to B. A directly change to C. This will not happen. It will only from A to B, B to C, C to B, C to A. This is theoretical part. Okay, because of that, therefore, we have this table. If you ask me this, what table is this? You can call it Tan's table. My name is Tan. This table is saying that here. If your optimal solution is B, if your optimal solution is B, This is the class example that we discussed. You remember the class example? Okay. The solutions, optimum solution is B. Kalau optimum solution B means the sensitivity for right hand side value, there are two limits. Ada dua limits. One upper limit, one lower limit. We don't know which one. So cara nak cari dia macam mana? If I want to find right hand side value for constraint 1, okay, what I do? I find the 2 point that constraint 2 intersect at x1 dan x2. Ini yang kita belajar dalam chapter 3 part 3 lah. If I want to find a sensitivity range for right hand side value of constraint 1, what I need to do is I find the 2 point whereby constraint 2 intersect x1 and x2. Dan ganti 2 point ni masuk balik ke constraint 1, you dah dapat 2 number. These 2 number representing the limit if optimal solution is B. Okay. Case kedua, if optimum solution is A, tadi dah cerita Negeri Sembilan tak boleh terus sampai JB, ikut plus highway tak boleh. You have to go through Melaka. Therefore, yang only sempadan yang ada ialah Melaka. Tak ada sempadan antara Negeri Sembilan dengan Johor. Tak ada kan? Mana ada sempadan antara Negeri Sembilan dan Johor? Tak ada. Therefore, Johor bukan sempadan. Tak ada sempadan dengan Negeri Sembilan. Therefore, tak ada sempadan. There's no limits when x2, where's my pointer? When x2 equal to 0. The only limits that have kalau optimum solution dekat A is limits when x1 equal to 0. Satu limit saja. Sebab dia hanya boleh pergi Melaka. Dia tak ada lagi satu sempadan, tak ada. Okay, that's theoretical. Kalau yang ini tak faham, senang nak remember ialah macam ni. If optimum solution dekat x1 sama dengan kosong, this is x1 sama dengan kosong sini. If optimum solution dekat sini, x1 sama dengan kosong, masuk dekat x2 lah. Then, the limit will be at x2. If optimum solution dekat x2, limit will be at x2 dan x1 tak ada limit. Why? Sebab tak ada sempadan antara negeri Johor dengan negeri Sembilan. Tak ada. Cari sampai bila-bila pun tak jumpa sempadan. Dekat semua buku geografi pun tak jumpa. Okay, that is number 2. Number 3. Here. If the optimum solution dekat C, Johor pula. Sama lah, tak ada sempadan antara Johor dengan Sembilan. Therefore, negeri Sembilan tak boleh jadi limit. The only limit yang ada ialah, maksudnya, when say negeri Sembilan tak boleh jadi limit means x1 equal to 0 cannot be the limit. The only limits take place occur when x2 equal to 0. This is x2. x2 equal to 0 is here. So, pendek kata, when the optimum solution dekat C dekat sini, optimum solution dekat x1, paksi x1, then the limit will be x1. Understand? Recap. If optimum solution dekat B, you have 2 limit. How to find the 2 limit? Look at another constraint, the intercept of another constraint at x1 and x2 become your limit. We don't know which one is upper, we don't know which one is lower, we calculate and then we decide. This is the class example that we did. Then on top of that, if optimal solution dekat A means the limit will be dekat paksi x2. If optimal solution dekat C, the limit will be paksi x1. That is practical way of doing. But I also explain to you why. It's because change of solution mix theoretically it will not happen in such a way that instead of produce something immediately you change to produce nothing. That is a theoretical part. So far faham? If you apply this, then one of this is tutorial 3, one of this is tutorial 4. But the sad thing is, I give you tutorial 3, we discuss tutorial 4. Okay, then you come to tutorial 3. Now we try to verify my table, is it correct? I try to verify whether my table is it correct. Now, tutorial 3, which is the optimum point? A, okay, A is optimum point. So based on the table, what the table tell you? If optimum point is at A, there's only one limit. Am I right? One limit, Where the limit come from? The point should be at x2 or x1.
2.
X2, betul. So now, okay, go one by one. Okay, macam ni Now I want to find sensitivity range for constraint 1. I want to find the sensitivity range for the right hand side value for constraint 1. This is constraint 1 and this is constraint 2. This is constraint 1 and this is constraint 2. Kalau dekat B, then I find 2 points. But now it's A, I need to find 1 point. 1 point where I want to find sensitivity range for constraint 1. Therefore, I need to find a point that constraint 2. Jangan lupa, bukan constraint 1. Saya nak cari sensitivity range for constraint 1. Maka saya cari point di mana constraint 2 intersect with X2. Why X2? Because optimum solutions dekat apa? X2. Right? X2. So the point that I found here is 0, 1, 6, 0. Okay. Then I replace this point to this constraint. Then I will able to find the sensitivity range. So macam mana tengok? Saya takkan explain yang detail. Saya takkan explain yang detail sebab this one I think is in the e-learning, but I don't know whether I really unhide it or not. Okay, where is that? I go to the point there. Here. So you see, I found this. If you want to look at the theoretical, okay, I think same the slide I explain the theoretical part also lah. Okay. If I move, A will always be a solution. Therefore, there's only one limit lah. Okay, that limit is at A. Okay, that limit is at A. The limit is at A. All right. So if I replace, tadi saya dah jumpa ini this limit. I replace into here. So I get this number. 320. I replace x equal to 0, x2, 1, 6, 0 to constraint 1. Where to find this point? This point is where constraint number 2 intersect at x2. I found here. Here. Then I replace 0, 1, 6, 0. I get 320. So sensitivity for right side value 1. Originally is 500. So 320 must be lower, smaller than 500. So here must be infinity. So we get infinity. Okay. So same thing. If I want to find, now I want to find sensitivity range for constraint 2. Ini tak explain. If I want to find sensitivity range for constraint 2, this is constraint 2. So I must find a point where constraint 1 intersect at x2, which is this point. Why I refer to x2? Because my optimum solution is at A. So the point I got is 0, 2, 5, 0, right? Correct? Right here, 0, 2, 5, 0. So I replace 0, 2, 5, 0 into this constraint, which is 4, 0 plus 5, 2, 5, 0. So I get 1, 2, 5, 0, right? Then Q2 original is 800. So this must be here, right? Because, and then here, 0. I think the answer is in the slide. 0, 0250. Okay, then you get here, okay, exactly the same. So you check, even the QM with the output also deleted the day, so and that is the answer. All right. Then subsequently, tutorial 4 a bit lengthy because I purposely, that's why I purposely change the objective functions. Then I ask you to do, I'm supposed to give you this. I purposely change the objective functions, then I ask you to find the optimum solution. So if you follow this objective line, you can use point-to-point method. You can use point-to-point method. Maybe replace this point into the objective function. Then you will get the z for each of the point. Then you find the maximum. Or in this slide, what I show you basically is I draw the objective line. Then I found, the optimum point is C. Since the optimum point is C, the sensitivity range will be another constraint intersect x1. So we're only interested on x1, we're not interested on x2. Okay. So if I start with, so the optimum point is this, 0, 1, 6, 7. If I start with constraint number 1, in order for me to find the limit of right-hand side value for constraint 1, I must find where constraint 2 intersect at x1, which is here, or 200, 0. So I replace 200, 0 back to the constraint 1. I think it's there, is it? 200, 0. Yeah. So I replace 200, 0 back to the constraint 1. What I will get? 600. I will get 600. So this 600, I try to find. 500, 600 must be here. Okay. Then again, if I want to do, I want to find sensitivity range right side value for constraint 2. This is constraint 2. Because the optimum point is at C, so I'm interested on x1, I'm not interested on x2. So I want to find the constraint line, the sensitivity range for constraint 2, which is in red. So I need to find the intercept of another constraint at x1, which is this 15, not 150, here. Once x1 equal to 167, I think I use 168. Then because 16, maybe I use 168 or 167. Okay, 167. Then you replace it in. You replace 167 into the constraint 2. You will get 668, and you'll get the answer here. Why is minimum? Because original Q2 is 800. Am I right? Original value is 800. Okay, and from there you get the solution. Is it clear? I think we look at the. I think the solution is there, but I think it's hard with e-learning. Oh, I didn't. So I build the screen now. Still PowerPoint. Academic e-learning. What's the time? Okay, it's okay. We have time. Sections 2. You see my neighbor still the renovation for so many weeks, still renovation. Yeah lah, I hide it. Forgotten. I shouldn't hide it. Okay. I hide it. test one I mark already lah. Let me not now lah. Okay, by saying so, we done also this. Good, we done this. So tomorrow we discuss tutorial. Then next week we talk about the transportation in I know tomorrow. Let me look at my plan. I can't remember. Then assignment is another manual calculation. We're on track. There's one more thing. I suggest we're not going to do test on next week lah. We move to after Raya. Is it okay? Better, is it? Better lah. Okay. Okay. So okay now, if nothing, then we go to what is that? We go to attendance. Kehadiran. The most important thing for you, right? Throughout the 2 hours. Hey, but what happened? Okay. What my... I saw tomorrow I have a meeting until 12:30. But let me see how. Done, everyone? If done, then you can leave the room or leave the teaching platform, and then see you again tomorrow. I noticed there's a meeting, but let me see how. Never mind. I will update you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, any changes, I will update you. Okay. In this group, correct. There's one more thing. I need to know your how you split your group. Anyone can send. I'm supposed to send you the attendance student list, is it? Alamak, I've forgotten. Okay. I will send to you. All right. Okay, thanks everyone. Siapa yang dah scan? Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thanks.